What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're talking about why it's important to keep your word. This is important not only for your relationship with other people in your life, but arguably it's most important for your relationship with yourself. Imagine a world where your word means it's going to happen. Whatever you say you are going to do, you are actually going to follow through with. You say you are going to quit X, Y, and Z, maybe eating junk food or playing video games or spending so much time on your phone. Imagine a world where you say you are going to wake up at 7 a.m. every morning and go to the gym, and you actually end up doing those things. How many times have you made a promise to yourself? You've told yourself, I'm going to do this, and you don't end up doing it. I know I've been there, and I'm willing to bet that you've probably been there too. Now, over the years, I've really developed this relationship with my own word and the value that it has. I find it extremely important for so many reasons. The biggest ones probably being productivity, confidence, and self-respect. And those all go hand in hand. You can see where being able to keep your word to yourself, keeping your promises to yourself is going to help you be more productive, because you've probably made all kinds of plans for how you're going to be productive in all these different ways, and then you just didn't follow through on them. Well, if you can follow through on them, you're going to be more productive, obviously. But this video is not just about productivity. That's a rather obvious thing. It's more so about fundamentally why it's important to keep your word. It's going to give you momentum. It's going to change the way that you see yourself. And that's where confidence and self-respect really play a big role in a not so obvious way. If you keep your word to yourself, imagine how much more self-respect you're going to have. And I noticed this over time as I was able to stick to my commitments more, not to anyone else per se, although that's important too. I'll talk about that later. But even just the commitments that I make to myself, being able to stick to those, I have so much more respect for myself because I know that I have integrity. I know that my word is valuable. It's meaningful. I'm not just like blowing smoke, as they say, right? I'm not just saying meaningless things. When I say something, I mean it. If you build this habit of having integrity and keeping your word to yourself, you're going to feel more self-respect and you're going to feel more confident that when you make a plan, when you set the play, that it's going to happen. So this makes you a lot more confident in your ability to get things done in life and get meaningful results that are going to make you happy at the end of the day. And really, it's not just the results that are going to make you happy. It's the fact that you put in the work, you had the discipline, you kept your word to yourself, you had the integrity to follow through with the process. That's why it's important to keep your word to yourself. If you can make this one change in your life, which is a difficult change to make, but I'll talk about later how you can make it. Right now, I just want to highlight how important it is to keep your word to yourself. If you can make this change in your life, you're going to have this positive momentum where that confidence, that ability to get things done, think about what that could do for you. Think about how that can really change your life over the next 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years. If you can stay consistent with keeping your word to yourself and really hold that as a value. So I really want to focus on how important that is. And I really want that to sink in, that it's so important for you to hold this integrity, hold this sense of being able to keep your word in high regard in your own mind. So I really wanted to hit that point home for you. That's why it's very important to keep your word to yourself. Now, it is also important to keep your word to others. This is a little bit more obvious, but everything that I said about keeping your word to yourself, it's all going to hold true for others as well. If you are keeping your word to others, they're going to have more respect for you. Think about the contrast. If you don't keep your word, if you make empty promises, people are going to have less respect for you. You are going to have less respect for yourself. If you keep your word, people are going to trust in you more. They're going to respect you more. They're going to see that you have integrity and they're going to respect that. And they're also going to trust you more. So they might open up opportunities to you because they know that they can trust you. They might be willing to go deeper in a friendship or a relationship with you because they know they can trust you. And you know you can trust yourself. So that's a double whammy, right? It's good on both fronts, your relationship with yourself and your relationship with others. It opens up so much opportunity for you. If you want any kind of professional success in life, you have to be able to keep your word. You can't be making empty promises. You need to be somebody who is reliable if you want success in a professional career. Reliability is also important for success, like I said, in friendships and relationships, both platonic and romantic. If you want your partner to be able to fully surrender to you into the loving container that is your relationship, you have to show them that you are trustworthy and reliable, or they're never going to feel fully comfortable enough to fully embrace your relationship with them. So now you know the importance of keeping your word. I hope I've really helped you reframe that. Now I want to give you some ways to make this manageable for you, because you might be thinking, well, yeah, that all sounds great, but how do I do that? How do I stick to the commitments both to myself and to others? Especially when the commitments to yourself involve things like keeping up your good habits and being more committed to following through on your goals. That can be very difficult. I have a lot of videos that dive very in depth into ways that you can do that on the habits and the goals frontier. But I'm going to talk briefly about how you can be better at sticking to your word in a more general context. So, it is important to be very mindful of your commitments. Avoid making promises without further consideration. Don't be promising things that you cannot upkeep on your end. When considering these promises that you wish to make, or these commitments that you wish to make, set realistic expectations. So get a rough idea of how long something might take or how much you can really do that thing. And also assess where you're currently at. So for example, if the commitment that you're making is going to the gym every day, but you don't go to the gym at all, that might not even be the best idea, right? Like, you should probably start smaller and work your way up. So set the goal to make it to the gym perhaps every other day. And instead of being in there for an hour, be in there for half an hour. This is not medical advice, but it is just a testament to the fact that a lot of times we dive into big goals all at once. We go 0 to 100 and then we crash and burn. It's better to start off smaller in ways that you are going to be able to be consistent and then work your way up. Once it is a habit ingrained into your lifestyle, then you could, step on the gas a little bit more without redlining the engine and burning yourself out. Which brings me to the next idea here, which is break down your goals, right? If you have long-term goals, break them down into smaller, more manageable steps. My next point is going to be balancing your to-do list with a to-don't list. A lot of times, we have a lot of things that we want to be committed to, but we feel as though we don't have enough time. If you reflect on what it is that is taking up your time that you don't value and eliminate those things, make a to-don't list, so to speak, you'll find your day is going to open up a lot more. You're going to have a lot more valuable time for things that you do want to be doing, for things that you want to be committing yourself to. The next one is reflection. This sort of goes hand in hand with accountability. There's different ways that you can do this, but just kind of reflecting, did I do all those things that I was going to say I did? You can keep a journal and write about it at the end of the day. You can keep a habit tracking calendar. I have a link to one of those for the year 2023 in my description down below. When the year's over, keep an eye out for the 2024 calendar. So you can go ahead and click that. I personally use a habit tracking calendar. I find it to be very effective. And if you want to know more about that, it's all in the email that you will be sent when you claim your habit tracking calendar, the instructions on how to use it and whatnot. Whatever you want to do, there's different ways that you can hold yourself accountable through reflection. And the next thing, arguably the most important thing, this is a remedy to all in one way or another. Perhaps that's a bit of an exaggeration, but meditation. Practicing meditation, being able to be more mindful of your mental activity, your impulses to go do things that you don't necessarily value too much, It's going to really help you to stay disciplined to do the things that you said you were going to do, and disciplined to not do the things that you said you were not going to do. So meditation and mindfulness, being aware of your impulses, your mental activity is going to be very important for that. You're going to be able to catch yourself trying to justify why, maybe you don't have to go to the gym today or X, Y, and Z. And don't get me wrong, sometimes those excuses, there still are excuses, but sometimes they could be valid. But for the most part, we tend to be full of shit. So use your mindfulness, use your meditation practice to help expand your mindfulness, to catch yourself next time you try to blow off your commitments and your priorities. That's it for today's video, guys. I hope you take this and you really let it sit. You really start to prioritize integrity as a value in your life and really start to keep your word both to yourself and to others, and see all the positivity that has to offer you in your life. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to give it a like, subscribe to my channel for more content like this, and I'll see you in the next one.